Alright guys, so what is up here, and today we are taking a look at the top 10 rarest gaming consoles ever. You will not believe the price of some of these consoles. I hope you enjoy. So, starting off with number 10, we have the Cuphead Xbox One S. This limited edition console was specifically created for Cuphead's LA launch event in 2017, and there were only 4 of them in existence. And these were given away as prizes to some of the people who attended in this event. Because of the rarity, the price is more than likely to increase further as time continues on, which could explain why owners seem to be hanging on for them. Most of the rarest video game consoles will date back to the 20th century. This is indeed a 21st century console. There are a handful of modern systems that can sell for ridiculous prices, but this one, the Cuphead Xbox One S, is currently $3,000. And now at number 9, we have the Nintendo 64 DD. Looks pretty weird, right? Looks also kind of plain. But this here is also a very, very rare console. Everybody knows that the Nintendo 64 ran at cartridges. But at this time though, the PlayStation was turning heads with CDs. And Nintendo really wanted to be a part of that. So they made this. The Nintendo 64 DD. The DD stands for Disk Drive, and this was released exclusively in Japan in 1996. And the sad thing is, this console was a failure. It was a massive commercial failure, and no one really remembers it even existed. But with failure comes rarity, and these things are probably just as rare as the Xbox One S Cuphead console, if not even more rare. But this Nintendo 64 DD also goes for a whopping $3,000, depending on the condition. Next up at number 8. This here is the Sega CDX. It is pretty much a fusion of the Sega CD and the 32X put together. And yes, that's literally all I have to say about it. So, beginning in the early 1990s, Sega started combining their Sega Genesis and Sega CD into one console. And so they called that the CDX. This thing was $400 when it was first released. And for the early 90s, that's unbelievable because the value was way lower at that time in the 90s. So to see a $400 console in the 90s is terrible, which this expensive price resulted in not very many sales. The Sega CDX could sell at just $1,000 at the cheapest. However, though, for better quality ones, it can sell upwards of $4,000 to $5,000. Next up here at number 7. This is the Mazura Dreamcast. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but the Mazura Dreamcast was made by a Japanese vehicle manufacturer with the same name. Only 500 of these were made. This is probably the most unique Dreamcast console ever. There are a lot of variations of the Dreamcast console, with a couple of them being rare. Number 6 is also another rare Dreamcast console, but the Mazura is only about 500 of them were made, which this goes for about $6,000. Now 500 seems like a lot, but there is another reason of why these people are willing to pay up to $6,000 for these things. The consoles and controllers feature a special coating which causes their color to change depending on the light and the viewing angle. In certain conditions, the system appears to be aqua blue, but they can also take on a midnight purple coloring. Then there's also green and a bunch of others. I would honestly want this. Up next, here at number 6, we have the Dreamcast Stars Edition. The Dreamcast Stars Edition is up there with some of the hardest to find systems ever released. This console here was exclusively released in Japan by Sega. It has a gray/blue color scheme and comes with a special Stars sticker on the disk drive. There is also an exclusive controller with it and the video game Code Veronica. And only 200 of these consoles were made. And the value of this thing skyrockets to a whopping $7,000. And now, number 5. So every year, there's something called the Pokemon World Championships. And there is even a Nintendo DSi XL with the Pokemon World Championships on it. And this thing is also very, very rare. This thing was only given out as prizes to the top players who competed in the Pokemon World Championships held in Hawaii. This console, there's various paint schemes, but this thing costs just as much as the Dreamcast Stars Edition at $7,000. And now, up at number 4. Now this console, I bet you did not know it existed. We all know about the PS1, but did you know that there is a second PS1? No, I'm not talking about the PS2. I'm talking about this. This is the PS1 10 millionth model. There are various ones of these made, and it's like a regular PS1, except the boxing is a little bit different, and it also has like a midnight blue color to it. And I think there's also an ocean blue version of this console made as well. They are produced in a very, very limited quantities. But the average price is around $7,500. And now then, we have heard of the Game Boy Advance SP. But did you know that there was one made out of real gold? This console right here is called the Gold Minish Cap Game Boy Advance SP. One of the rarest consoles ever made. This is a limited edition pack, which is a exclusive from the UK, and it contains both the Minish Cap video game and a rare gold Game Boy Advance SP, priced at $8,000. I didn't even know game consoles could go up this high, man. Now this console, I am definitely sure that you have never heard of. And this is called the Atari Cosmos. I bet that almost none of you have ever heard of this. And this thing, it's pretty small too. And the price on this thing is insane. Like, I don't even know what to say about this thing. The Atari Cosmos was in development for 3 years, but it ended up being canceled in 1981. The Cosmos never really released, but however though, there are 5 prototypes that exist. 3 of them are just empty shells, which means that there are only 2 working ones. Do you have any idea how rare that is? Your chances of finding the Atari Cosmos is like 1 in a billion. And this thing goes for $18,853. Someone sold this on eBay for $18,853. You can buy a 2017 Honda Civic for $18,000. What if I told you that something like this existed? What you are seeing right now, you might think is fake, but no, this is not photoshopped. This is not fan-made. This is a real thing. It's like a Nintendo and a PlayStation 1 combined together. That's exactly what it is. This is the Nintendo PlayStation, the rarest gaming console in the world. A man by the name of Terry Diebel discovered this prototype in 2009. A decade later, he put this thing up for auction, which sold for an insane amount of $360,000. Nintendo and PlayStation collaborated together to make this console. It was never released, and only this prototype existed. Only one prototype exists. This is the world's most expensive piece of gaming ever sold. And there you have it, the top 10 rarest gaming consoles ever that you wouldn't believe existed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching.